Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me. I am excited for another year, 2024 of Dinger Tuesday. Even though Fanduel is playing games with us, they cut limits yet again, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm going to ask for your patience and forgiveness. I take a lot of time to put this presentation together, and I'm going to do it every Tuesday. So I'm going to try to cut down on my video editing time. So we're going to do this all in one take. So excuse any errors I make that I normally would go back and clean up. We'll start first with the two options for Dinger Tuesday. You need to check your terms for this promotion. Some people have the unlimited version and some people have the limited version. In the unlimited version, you can play every single game and you will get $5 back for every home run hit in that game. No limit. If you have the unlimited version and your bankroll mental health can support it, I would recommend playing it. It is the best promotion probably in the market of sports books and sports betting, and I have had great luck with it this will be the fourth year that they've done it, so I'm jealous if you have the unlimited version, and I would recommend doing it. If you have the limited version, you can only get a maximum of $25 back per day, so I would recommend playing 1 to 2 games. Last year it was $50, so you could play about 3 to get your value. We'll figure out strategy as we go. It may be worth it to play an early game, see how many you get, and then play a later game. I'll probably just flat bet 2 games a day, and we'll call it good there. People are going to say, how do you determine who gets what? How does FanDuel determine? My guess is just if you're an account that does a lot of parlays, you do a lot of low stakes, you look very, very recreational, they're going to give you the unlimited. And if you're an account who plays a lot of straights and plays a lot of big money, gets a lot of good closing line value, gets a lot of plus EV plays, you're probably going to have the limited version. So I don't have any rhyme or reason to why they would do it outside of that. Walk you through quickly my sheet and how it looks each week. I'm going to give you the game, as you can see right here, the listed pitcher, although these are known to change, so be aware of that. The innings that they have pitched either last year or this season. As we get later on into this season, I'll start updating it. All the numbers for today are from last season. The home runs that they allowed, the home runs per inning they allowed, the home runs for 5 innings that they allow, because most starters are going to go about 5 innings. Ballpark Pal's projected home run hits in the game. If you're not familiar, Ballpark Pal is a website that used to be free until this year, and I'm honestly proud of him, happy for him for monetizing it. He puts a lot of work into it, and it's one of the best resources out there. Use code GMG is a joke. I've actually been messaging him on Twitter saying, hey, do you want to partner in any way? I'm going to promote your product in my Dinger Tuesday videos. If you want to do some sort of creator codes, that'd be awesome. He says, hold the phone a little bit. We'll wait until he gets deeper in the season. So you can't use code GMG. That's just a joke, but I'm manifesting it. He also gives percentages for the home run increase based on weather, based on all these different metrics. So we'll talk about that as we go. And then finally, I give it a grade based on what I think the ceiling is for home runs. A is, optimal. Most home runs you're going to see on the slate. B, C, D, E, not E, all the way to F. And then I give 2 picks, an A team and a B team pick. And people always ask me, what's the difference? Truthfully, there's not a ton of difference. I try to mix it up and give you a safer play and maybe a play I see more value in, more of a long shot play. But these really are just the 2 best bets that I have on the game. And we'll talk about my history with A team and B team in a second. Some general notes: lineups can change from the time I make these videos in the morning to the time the first pitch goes. So if a lineup changes and a guy that I have on this sheet is not in the lineup, I will tweet it out and make a change, a correction. I do not devig or line chop these lines. Okay. I typically, 9 times out of 10, would suggest that you line shop, but you cannot line shop when you're playing this specific promo on a specific book. All right. And people are going to say, well, Ohtani is plus 340 on DraftKings and he's plus 300 on FanDuel, so I can't take him. Like, on principle, yeah, sure. Like, that's a fine way to look at it. But I would get mad if I wanted to take Ohtani and he was 40 points worse on FanDuel, and I didn't take him just because he was 40 points worse. Okay, so I don't think that devigging and line shopping is the way I approach Dinger Tuesday. I know some people do, and there's resources out there if that's the way you want to do it. I'm just trying to find value mixed with handicapping. I'm handicapping these games. I'm picking guys that I think will go yard, and hopefully I can pull some value out of it. That's my approach. I typically don't go below plus 300, so I don't typically go with the Otanis, the Olsons, the Judges, because I don't see a lot of value in that. You're welcome to do what you want. I have made money doing this 3 years in a row, though. So let me turn this light on. My face is a little dark. So I don't say that out of arrogance. I say that to say that this speaks for itself. This is how I track all the data. I sort it by how I rate the games. I keep track of how many games I play that were A-rated, how many home runs were hit, how many free bets it generated, et cetera, et cetera. And this is it sorted out from last year. Bottom line is my A-rated games returned an average of $13 in free bets a game. My B-rated 6, my C-rated 6, and my D-rated 6, my F-rated 5. So all of that's on there to say the A-rated games I'm handicapping correctly. Those are the games with the most home runs. The F-rated games I'm handicapping correctly. Those are the games with the least. And B, C, and D kind of were all intermingled and intermixed. So, take that with a grain of salt as you look through my picks. The main thing I want to point out, and you can look at this top sheet, which breaks down how my A team performed, how my B team performed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're interested in all of the details, the bottom line is this. If you would have tailed every single A team play that I gave out last year, you would have spent just under $6,000. That's a lot of money. Okay, I'm not sugarcoating that. You would have won in just home run bets $5,200. So you would have lost $700, but you would have gotten $2,765 in free bets. If you convert that at 75%, you have a grand total of $1,300 in your pocket. Now, some weeks we lost, okay? Some weeks we lost hundreds. Other weeks we won hundreds. So that is just me putting it out there. So you can, I'm proving myself a little bit here that I do this, I study this, I tried to make you guys some money. If you followed the B team, you spent just under $6,000. And before any free bets were earned, we were positive, which means screw the promo. Just play the home runs. We made money. That's all. I'm patting myself on the back because that's darn good, okay, to be able to do that. We got this many free bets back for a grand total of $2,200 if you followed only B team. So last year, B team performed better than A team. I can't tell you why. It just happened. For a grand total of just under $12,000 spent, $11,000 earned in home runs, and $3,500 combined. The point is, I trust myself with this promotion. Okay, home runs are something that I think I do pretty well on. I would always advise converting your free bets. 75% is typically what you can find on Fanduel. That's my suggestion to you. Let's start. Let's get into it today. We got an early start game. The Twins visit Milwaukee with a retractable roof. Weather's not great. If the roof's closed, we should be fine. I've given this a B. The pitchers, these are their stats from last year. Pretty average. Ballpark Pal projects about 2.3 home runs hit in this game. I think this is a fine game to play if you're on the limited version. Sal Frelick and Bryce Turang would be my plays at plus 600 and plus 900. I think Yelich is okay at 440, and anything above 400, I think there's some good value. Max Kepler is a guy that I like on Tuesdays. He's not listed right now, but he is a lefty going up against the righty and Jacob Junis. So I think he'll be in the lineup, but FanDuel does not have his line. If Kepler starts and his line is above 600, it's an absolute play, and I may even sub out Frelick at that price. Next game, we have the Twins, and not the Twins, sorry, the Royals and the Orioles. Orioles had a nice comeback last night, but the conditions are awful today. I've given it a D. Ballpark Pal has it negative 25% decrease in home runs hit, just under 2 home runs projected. If you have the unlimited version, I would play them all and not worry about this. But if you have the limited version, I would stay away. Adley Rutschman and Ryan O'Hearn would be my picks. I would go with 2 Baltimore guys, both at plus 630. I think their odds reflect the weather that we're going to see. I think these guys are fairly priced. For the game in Philadelphia, we have Graham Ashcraft and Spencer, I believe is his name, Turnbull. Not a ton of innings for Turnbull. I think he's been hurt. He was with Detroit. Another game that's going to be windy and rainy. We may actually not see this game played. It's giving, I give it a D, and I would stay off this game unless you have the unlimited version. If you do have the unlimited version, you want to play all of them. Jake Fraley at 630 is good, and Ellie De La Cruz at 830 is just wild. That's a choice by FanDuel. He hasn't hit one this year, but this is a guy who can go yard any day of the week, especially on Tuesdays. So 830 screams value, but again, conditions aren't great. I don't expect a lot of home runs on this one. The Angels visit the Marlins, and Jesus Luzardo, I believe, has already had a start this year and didn't look great. I've chosen a guy from each of these teams. This is also in a dome, so I think this is a fine game to play if limited. Brandon Drury at 5-1 and Brian De La Cruz at 680, I think, are both good plays. Trout hit 2 yesterday, and I think he's had 3 on the season already. So at plus 390, I do think that's value. I wouldn't be shocked if Trout dips closer to plus 300 by the time the first pitch is thrown. So if you want to go with a little bit more chalky, safer play that still has some value, I would suggest Trout, but Drury and De La Cruz would be my plays for this game. The Rays game is probably one, it's actually one I've already locked in. I've already locked in Evan Carter at plus 750. This is a dome game. Zach Eflin, I believe, gave up 3 home runs this first game. This will be the second game he started. Ballpark Pal is projecting 3 home runs in this game. So on the limited version, this is one I am definitely targeting. I've given it a B. Evan Carter at plus 750 is too good. It's too good to pass up, so I'm going with that. Corey Seager, typically I don't dip close to that 300 line, but I like Corey Seager. Laudy Taveras, I was sitting at like 900 this morning. Worth it if you want to go for a long shot. But this is a game that I would definitely play. The game in New York is going to be windy and rainy, and I've given it a D. Casey Miz, I believe is how you say it, has not played since 2022, and do with that information what you will. I would not play this game with the limited. I will not be playing it, but Brent Batty and Kerry Carpenter at 870 and 520 would be my picks for this game. Garrett Crochet had a fantastic first game. I think he had like 8 strikeouts. I don't even know if he gave up a run. I forget who they were playing in that series. The weather's not looking good in Chicago, but the wind is favoring home runs. It's blowing out, and when you get that lake wind effect, it's always great if it's in your favor, and it is very much in the Cubs' favor and the White Sox favor. So watch the rain. This is a game I'm very interested in playing if the if the rain stays away. Yoan Moncada and Andrew Benintendi would be my plays. I'm actually staying away from Braves hitters because of how good Garrett Crochet looked in that first game. And Braves hitters are pretty juiced right now. They're like the top 4 because they are big bats. So if you want to get a little bit of value, I think you go with the White Sox hitters here, projecting 3 home runs. So a good game to target on the limited version. Same thing, Chicago, same instance, also a B. Wind is good. Seiya Suzuki at 520. But Charlie Blackmon at 8-1 will be one I get to if the weather stays away. A guy that typically leads off or has been leading off for the Rockies, and at 8-1, fantastic price. Ryan McMahon at 540, also don't mind that. I don't think you can really go wrong in this game because of the wind, like we mentioned. I think you'll return value regardless. So play this game if the rain stays away. Another game that's in a dome, so you don't have to worry about weather, is Toronto and Houston. 2 aces on the mound, although Valdez didn't look good in his start either. Ballpark Pal projects 3 home runs. I give it a grade of a B, which means it's very playable on the limited version. Justin Turner at 520 and Bo Bichette at 830 are good. Kyle Tucker is a guy I typically like on Tuesdays. He hit 2 last night, and so he's going to cool off tonight. He's got to, right? But at 420, if you want a little bit more of a chalky Mike Trouty play, I would lean Kyle Tucker at 420. But those are my 2 picks for Toronto for this game. The A's and the Red Sox, not great. Weather is not great, and there's no lines right now on Fanduel. I'm not entirely sure why. Trevor Story and Connor Wong would be the guys I target based on who's projected to start in this game, provided that they are above plus 600. I'll tweet out my details for this game later, but I don't have the unlimited version, so I'm not touching this game. The Yankees are 5-0, and they are visiting Zach Gallen and the D-backs tonight. They played them last night and won. I think Suarez at 600 is too free. I was shocked to see that number. I may, even though I've given this a grade of a C, I may play Suarez just because of the value I see on that line against Nestor Cortez. Lourdes Gurriel at 630 I think is a good price. And if you want more of a chalky, safer Kyle Tucker, Mag Trouty play, Christian Walker at 460, I think would be where I would look. I think this game's fine to play if you have the limited version. This game is set to be pretty well set up in terms of whether the wind is blowing out, but the 2 aces on the mound are going to probably scare people away, although Castillo didn't look great in his opener. Ballpark Pals projecting just under 3 home runs hit in this game. I'm going to target 2 Guardians in this one. Josh Naylor, 5-1, and Jose Ramirez at 540. Again, it doesn't feel right. And in fact, it feels wrong. It feels very wrong to have Jose Ramirez above 400 even. So at 540, tons of value there on Ramirez, I believe. Cardinals and Padres, yuck. Not great weather, and the odds reflect that. I would go with Cronenworth and Burleson here, 870 and 800. I've given it a D. I will not be playing it, but I'm going to try to squeeze all the value I can out of it by taking these 2 guys. And the last game of the night is the Giants and the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have announced it's going to be a bullpen game. Ryan Yarbrough figures to take up a bulk of the innings, or as many as he can go, but because there's no announced starters, there are no lines up. I would target Outman and Soler tonight. I've estimated what their lines are going to be. I would play them at anything around those lines. But like always, since I did not confirm here, I will tweet it out to confirm once lineups are posted, once lines are up. So thank you guys for coming by. If you like the content, I'm going to do this every single Tuesday. Please comment if there's anything else you want to see, any more data you want me to add. I can't promise I'm going to do it, but I will try my best. I'll try to make the video a little bit shorter in the next few weeks, but I need to lay the groundwork for this video. So that's what we did today. I appreciate you guys, and we will see you in a week. Good luck tonight. Let's cash, and let's cash early.